Welcome everyone to What's My Jam. Just to let you know what you're getting into, the purpose. We're going to talk about that. I'll tell you a little bit about me and who I help, as well as just three ways we're going to walk you through it. So it's going to be really interactive. What's up, Jamaica, New York? And we are going to do some work together. So I'm going to ask you at points to kind of participate. So feel free to jump in. We'd love to just kind of hear your perspectives. I think we learn really well from each other anyway, so it's good to share. I'm happy to have you because honestly, the world needs your gifts and your expertise. And I personally think that this is the year for experts. I don't know about you, but me personally, I'm kind of tired of seeing no skills, no experience, anybody's showing up and taking up space and really messing up people's lives. I think this is the year that we get clear on what we want and we get clear on our skills and our ideas because it's all valuable and it's needed right now. It's the year that we stop getting in our own way and we use our voice as impact and excellence. Does that sound okay to you guys? Let me know. It's going to be a lot of class participation, okay? So put that in the chat for me. I hope it's all right with you, okay? My word for this year, I don't know if you pick a word for the year, but I usually do. And my word for this year is enough. This year, I am enough. My voice is enough. My experience is enough. My expertise is enough. The purpose of What's My Jam, it's really to kind of help you identify your experience and the experience that you can build on to create revenue and impact. So for showing up live, you guys are also going to get the workbook. And the workbook is a fillable document. So you can do that as we go. What was interesting as I was thinking about this and entrepreneurship is, not all of us really grew up having access to entrepreneurship, right? I'm raising my daughter to be an entrepreneur. She bakes and she started that at age 8 and she started selling at age 9. And, that wasn't a path that most of us had. Most of us are like loyal to our masters, if you will, who tell us how to work, when to work, and who really kind of beat our passion down to submission to the point that, we doubt who we are. We doubt if we belong in certain spaces. We doubt if we're capable of more. And I think sometimes we get so hooked on our careers and getting to a certain point that we lose ourselves along the way and we really no longer see our power. And that's what this space is really about, not just finding your niche, but really finding who you are and what you bring to the table. Am I talking to you? If you're tired and you're burnt out, but you still show up for someone else, then yeah, I'm talking to you. But why do we do that? Why do we show up and why do we keep giving and giving and giving, even if a situation doesn't feel good? This was also something I was putting some thought to as I was thinking about this. And I think it can be complicated why we show up and why we overgive. And that might be why you go to therapy to figure that out. But the one reason I can coach you on today is that we're disconnected from our gifts and our interests. It's a disconnect to the point of this false obligation to an experience that really cost us. It cost us our passion and it cost us our purpose. But this is the year that we get that back. This is the year that we leverage our expertise. We navigate our anxieties, all the overthinking that comes up, and we really create like this higher level of excellence and higher level of opportunity. And if that's okay with you, and if you're down for that, put a yes for me in the chat. I want to make sure I'm talking to the right people today. So put a yes to me if you're okay with that, opportunities and leveraging your expertise. Woo! I'm excited. Yes, 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 and yes. Right? So my jam. Hi, my name is Amanda Flood. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm also a mindset coach. As a psychotherapist, I have a group practice. I supervise other clinicians. I've developed 2 CE trainings at this point, one on anxiety and one on clinical documentation. I do a lot of community trainings and speaking under that umbrella. I'm also a wellness consultant and a mindset coach. As a mindset coach for women in business, I help professionals crush this anxiety, get out of their headspace, and leverage their expertise. And for me, that includes running a mastermind, which just started out as an idea and now it runs like all year. I do workshops, retreats. This is my 2nd year that I'll be hosting a retreat for women of color. And I also do one-on-one coaching. So this is my jam. So it's like this one thing that's really evolved into all these multiple facets. So you can take this one skill and leverage it in so many different ways. And along the way, my help statement has evolved as I've learned how I love to show up, who I enjoy working with. I think it's become more precise as I've gone along, right? So for example, my one-liner for the consulting firm is I'm a psychotherapist and high performance coach, and I help leaders navigate stress, burnout, and overwhelm so their teams can thrive. As a mindset or high performance coach, that I help statement sounds a little bit different, but still in the same realm. And what it might sound like is I empower Black women to overcome overthinking and perfectionism through personalized coaching, accountability, and action-oriented strategies to reach their full potential in business and life. So any aha moments yet? Is your mind starting to open up to the possibilities of what you can do? This is really about expanding. And I see that, yes, beautiful. Mind is open. Yes, and it should be. Now, can you tell what my niche is from some of the things that I said? Did you hear who I help, or did you hear some of the things that I do? And you could drop that in the chat, or if you want to come off the chat and share that too, you can do that too. Yeah, women leaders, absolutely. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Ooh, I love it. Business owners. Yes, you guys are paying attention. I love it. Yes. So let's define a niche. A niche is a specialized area. So a special interest area like trauma, or a set of people you want to work with. Like you pointed out, leaders, you pointed out women. Maybe it's working with Black professional men who were raised without fathers. A niche is just like this specific area that I like, or that I really just want to work on and focus on. Okay, and why it's helpful for us is it really kind of brings focus to your work. It brings focus to your business in terms of, what products you want to create, your messaging. It helps you to be clearer on what you want to talk about, who you want to work with, etc. And it even helps you to become even more effective because you can work on honing in that skill set and fine tuning what you do. So fine tuning your products, fine tuning what you offer. And I think why that's important, and I really want that to sit in, is because a lot of times we feel like we're not good enough to do something, or we're not ready to do something, but you don't have to be. You don't have to know everything. Once you have that direction, as you're doing the work, you're learning, right? And as you're learning, you're getting better and you're fine tuning it. So it's going to come as you do that work too. It's one of those things that, listen, you can change as you go along. Dunkin' Donuts is no longer Dunkin' Donuts. Now it's Dunkin', because it went from we were just selling donuts to now we're selling bagels and coffee and like cinnamon sticks. So they've evolved as a brand, and then in terms of what they talk about and what they market. So it can definitely evolve, and that's okay too. Primarily faith-based clients. Yeah, that is a niche in itself, right? That people that would just want to work with you because that's what you do. I was talking with somebody today and they're like, yeah, like I don't just want to talk to like a therapist because my faith is so important to me. Okay, so good stuff. All right, so we're gonna get into your jam. All right, so we're gonna take some time to get some clarity on your jam. So, and that's really the first step in leveraging your expertise into a business, is understanding the skills that you build a business around. So I'm going to ask you to take 2 minutes, and this is on page 3 of your workbook. And I just want you to list out your skills. Okay, so this is how we start to figure out, well, what do I have? What have I been holding on to? And most of the times we don't notice, right? Because as you're moving through life, you just don't always see yourself like that, unless you're really looking in the mirror every day. But when you take a picture, you see yourself. So a lot of times we're moving through our careers, we're moving through life, we're moving through our experiences, and we really don't see our skills. We really don't see this person and the work that they do and all the knowledge and experience you've accumulated and what that means. So this is a moment to just think about that for a second. It's almost like updating your resume. I want you to take some time to just list out your skills, okay? So take your 3 minutes and start to write that out. Just think of anything and everything that comes to mind. I'm creative, I'm analytical, I'm a teacher, I'm a writer. All right, beautiful. So just to keep us moving, we're gonna go a little bit deeper. So what are you known for? That's the next box. What are you passionate about? What are the skills or areas that you are invested in learning more about? I love trauma work, so most of my studies have been around that recently. So what are the things that you're drawn to that you find yourself investing more in, or what are you really passionate about? Both boxes are there to kind of help you pull out more of what's in you. I'll give you. All right. I need a volunteer to let me know 2 things that you wrote down. And was there anything that surprised you as you started to kind of list out your skills and experiences there? Or maybe it'll be something that you know that you've been hesitating on.
I am Corlette, everyone. So 2 things I wrote for the skills part. I wrote good listener,
Mm,
um, and showing support. I'm pretty good with that. I like helping. And then as far as the go deeper part, I wrote helping on that. What am I known for? Speaking and preaching, um, parenting. What am I passionate about? Oh, empower. I'm passionate about what I do all the time nowadays. Empowering women, especially those with low self-esteem, particularly honing in or discerning like a deeper sadness than just I'm having a bad day,
mhm,
and working to help them through that and whatever it'll take. That's it.
mm. I love that. And I can see where those skills come together, like the listening and the helping when it comes to being able to help our women in that way. Good stuff. I would encourage you, even after this, to keep thinking about it. Maybe just spend a few minutes every day and see what else comes up for you. Because sometimes it's not even the obvious thing, it's just something that I've been doing. And like at this point, there's no skill left behind. An example of that comes to mind, like I teach a documentation class, but it's not something I love doing, but it's just something that I've been doing it for so long when I used to work in the hospital that I can do it with my eyes closed. And I realize it's something that people don't have that level of exposure to, and it's something that I can teach. So that's a skill for me, and that's a skill that I can use and I do use. So I'm leveraging that to create other opportunities and to help other people out. So sometimes it's that thing that we've been doing, even if it's not quite aligned with how we want to fully show up every day, it might still fit in there to help you out a little bit too. But thank you for that share. We'll take one more.
I'll share.
Thank you.
Sure. So you wanted to know about what the skills were, and then
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
not really surprised by anything. I'm a journalist by trade, among other things, done speaking, and one of the big things that people tell me is that I have a gift of connection and just connecting people and connecting people to things. And the what I'm really leaning in on is career coaching, empowering, and empowerment and self-discovery. Those are the
Mm,
things that are really kind of speaking to me. Been a central theme throughout my journalistic career.
mm. Okay. I like that. So it may be a combination of some of the things you've already been doing, but maybe even as you're growing and developing, trying to figure out the connection side, because I think that is a skill to be able to connect people. And then there's so many people that need connections, right? To really kind of build our network. So it's such a dope experience to be able to go to somebody and they're like, yeah, I know this person. There are people that make careers out of that too.
Yeah, and I'm thinking a little more about this. The connection part is maybe it's really connecting people with themselves. Uh,
Mm, mm-hmm.
yeah,
On a deeper level. I like that. I like that. And still tie it into journalism, right? Connected to your story and how do we express that and how do we
yeah,
almost explore the truth within ourselves.
right. Very true. Very true.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, so we'll shift down the page there to what's the problem that you solve? And I want you to try to be a little more specific here. For example, like when I started therapy, I knew that I wanted to help and serve my community when I started the practice, but more specifically, Black and Brown women and young adults struggling with trauma, as well as the overthinking, the worry, anxiety, all that good stuff. That's where I landed, right? So think about whatever it is that you want to do, and then kind of ask yourself, am I being really general, or can I like drill down on that a little bit more? So broad for me would be, I just want to serve the community, which is everybody. But if I really think about it, it's like, do I really love working with everybody, or who am I more attracted to, or who naturally kind of gravitate to me? because then that's really where I want to be. That's the part that really kind of brings me joy. And usually it's the thing that lights you up, like even if it's hard or even if it's hard work. So take a look at that part. What's the problem that I want to solve? And let's spend a little bit of time there. And there's some questions there to guide you to. Yeah, 30 seconds to get your thoughts down. All right, so that's time. Now we're gonna move down and go a little bit deeper. And what I would like for you to do is think about again the problems that I solved, and then you have some spaces there to think about that some more. And then you have another space to think about the experience that people have with you, right? Because all this is gonna get you to wrap your mind around, well, what am I really good at solving? Or what do I really just naturally do? Or what do I really like? What do people get from my experience and my being? So what are the possibilities that you're leading to? I would love a share.
My possibility is for women to overcome that pain, that emotional pain that's preventing them from moving forward and living the fullest life designed for them.
So you're leaning into helping women work through some of that emotional pain, right? Which we can get even more specific about.
Yes.
I know we've spoken about this, right? Because it isn't just any kind of pain, right?
Yes.
Because what's the area that you're really looking at focusing on?
Early pain that occurred early on in life. Could be childhood. It could be even an early marriage. Pain that happened from the job. So emotional pain, hurt that's occurred at specific times in their life.
Right. So those earlier relationships that may have caused some pain, right? And I don't even want to say damage because we're not damaged, right? But it's just kind of shifted us in some ways, but you want to be able to help women shift back. I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What was it like even just sharing in the space and sharing with another person? What was that like? I'm curious how it felt.
It was really good to hear other, other perspectives, and just that there's so much that we have to offer, that we have to give. And it's exciting to hear that somebody else has these desires and wants and skills outside of their job that they want to give and build on. It's really cool, really neat.
I love it. I think what it does for me is it allows us to really see that it's not that we don't really know, right? Because I hear it in all of you that you really do know what you want to do, right? But it's more sometimes that like maybe we think we are the only one. And that's why it is great to hear from other people. Or maybe we just, again, we're in that space of like doubt, and we doubt if we can do it, right? But all of that is like all this headspace noise that's really getting in the way of us executing our vision, right? It's important that we start to think about, well, what is it that's getting in the way? What am I thinking and what am I feeling? Am I afraid of something? If that feeling is there, usually there's some thoughts behind it that's really kind of jacking us up. Those thoughts are something that we really want to be aware of, because those are the more like harmful, critical thoughts that gets in the way. It's really going to bring us to the next place that we're going to look at in our time together, auditing your thoughts about success. As I think about this idea of in a step position, it takes me back to my days of being a runner. I used to be a middle distance-ish runner, so like the 400 meter hurdles. What I remember about that experience is every time we would get ready to compete, we'd be on the line, the gunman is like, on your mark, and you get into that position and you're holding that position. and set, and your body's now really ready to go forward. It's all this energy to go forward. Your muscles are ready to fire, but you're still holding. So this balance of I'm ready, but I've got to contain that energy, because if I go too fast, I'll jump the gun and be disqualified. And then boom, you're off. The set part is what really makes me think about women like us in this space. It's where we really arrive. We've arrived with all of our skills and experience, and we're probably more ready than we realize for what's ahead. But we're just holding. We're holding that knowledge. We're holding all our experience and practices, even though life has asked us to go. Right? We've got to start thinking about, why am I just holding? Why am I just waiting? Why am I just on pause? And that's what this next exercise is going to do as we dismantle that a little bit, because it's our thoughts that keep us in that set place. Part of really finding your jam, it really asks you to audit those thoughts. What is the internal dialogue that you're responding to? It might sound like, I can't do this, or how am I going to make money from this, or what will people think of me, or no one else is thinking like this, right? I feel like I'm a fraud. This is too difficult. What if I fail? I'm too old. So many things roll through our head. And I don't any of that sound familiar. All of that is part of our conversation sometimes. And sometimes it happens very quickly and we don't even really realize it. And we're very good at being super critical of us and everything that we do. And we're really good at making ourselves feel really small. But these are the thoughts that hold us in set. Okay, so in this next step, we're going to do a little bit more self-reflection, because you cannot build a business on an unhealthy foundation. I want you to be aware of what those thoughts are, and then we're going to start to switch them around a little bit. I'm going to ask you to take 2 minutes and take a look at the next page that talks about that in your workbook. Page 5, just jot down some of the thoughts that come up. All right, beautiful. Anyone want to just share some of what's coming up so far, or just give me one?
Sometimes the thought of, how do I sound when I speak?
How do I sound when I speak to people? What's the next
Am
thought
I
after that?
authoritative enough, or she sounds like a joke, or something along that nature?
Right. So that makes us not really want to speak, right? Because it's not super empowering in itself. Great example. Now, if you were to rephrase that, which is what I'm going to ask us all to do next as we go deeper with this step, what would it sound like? I'm not authoritative enough, or I don't like how my voice sounds. What could you say instead that's a little bit more helpful?
For me?
Yeah, that same statement.
I'm speaking my truth, and that's it.
Ooh, how did that land for everybody? How did that sound?
That was a whole vibe.
Ooh, I felt it like shimmy through my body.
I think that it's yours. So you literally just said, like, I'm speaking my truth. It may not sound like authoritative. It sounds like me. It's good stuff.
And the truth has authority. Even if I don't think it does, I don't believe it. Just is. Ooh. And if you take a look in the chat there, it sounds confident. So the other thing we've got to introduce to this experience is facts, because our mind just kind of takes one little idea and runs with it. Like it runs with the idea that my voice doesn't sound okay. You totally just shifted that for you. You really want to rewrite that in that more helpful view. I'm speaking my truth. And now we want to introduce facts. So one fact is someone just wrote in the chat box that it sounds confident. You sound confident. So now you know because someone else has just reinforced that for you. So when your mind wants to tell you no, you get to tell your mind what you really want to believe. And you get to remember that, oh, well, somebody already told me I sound confident. So I'm okay. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So we're going to practice this where we're going to take one or two and rephrase it. So take one of those negative thoughts or statements and rephrase it into something more helpful. And then I'm going to ask you to just think about one thing that someone else has said to you along the way about you or your expertise, something you've received from someone else, even if you didn't believe it. And then I want you to add that to that list too, because then that's also going to become a fact for you. It's going to become evidence for you that whatever I was believing or thinking before is not true. So we can hold that together. So 2 minutes, quickly jot that down for me. Change the negative, add a positive. Do some math. A lot of times we really dismiss our compliments. We dismiss positive feedback because it's kind of filtered through that space of, you know, I'm not good enough, or no, I didn't do da da da. We're sort of like minimizing it and dismissing it already, right? But we don't want to do that part. We just want to hold on to what is. If someone said it, and that's what they believe. That's their truth, right? So maybe, just maybe, it's true for me too. So you might have to think a little hard because you're just not used to holding on to the positive. Now I'm going to challenge you just a little bit more, right? And this step is really for if you're still kind of struggling with figuring out what you bring to the table or believing that you're worthy at being at the table. I'm going to ask you to take a second to only think about which part of the challenge you want to do. And then I'm going to have you do it now. So on page 6 of the workbook, it asks you to take a moment to call or text 3 friends or to post to Facebook asking any one of those questions in the book. So I want you to pick one to do. Am I going to text somebody really quickly? Am I going to call somebody really quickly? Or am I going to put it out there in social media land? All right, and whichever question you want, and I want you to put it out there. Because that's going to be our way of getting some more feedback. So we can add that to our system too. This is me holding you accountable. I want you to go do it. And when you're done, put done in the chat for us. We like to put things off so we don't get it done. So pick your challenge and let's go. Ooh, Bernadette, honey. I love it. All right. She turned up the 5, so you can't let her be the only one. Text a friend, post it. It's cool when you post it too, because sometimes it surprises you. We don't realize like how people view you or the things that they think about you. So it's pretty cool to see. So I love it. Good stuff. So now we're going to craft your jam and we're going to walk through this a little quickly, but it's okay because y'all always have time after this to go back through it. So I want you to think about, and you can look back to page 3 to help you with this, maybe circle the thing that you love doing, information to help you answer the questions on page 6. I'm going to give you about 2.5 minutes. Ooh, texted a friend, yes. But essentially, I want you to answer this. And it may have already come up in conversations already. It may have been in those aha moments. What's the problem that I can solve? Or what's the one that I'm really drawn to? Because you may be drawn to multiple problems, but what's the one that you're really excited about? Naturally, you're probably going to be gifted at a lot of things, but what's the one that like, I could really see myself doing this? Right? All right. Good, 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 good. So hopefully you plug some things in there and we're doing okay. Then we're going to bounce to the last part, and you've always got time to come back to this, but I want us to be able to put this together so we can hopefully get it to something that's meaningful. So we're gonna put it together. So you have some examples to work with. I put some examples there, but even just looking at the last 3 questions and all the things we've talked about so far, put it together here. So my gift is helping people find clarity to improve confidence or take powerful action. Or I help assess risks in businesses to prevent lawsuits. Or I help women resolve some of their early childhood hurt so that they can X, Y, and Z. Take a go at that and see if you can fit that into that last section. I'm gonna give you a minute. Don't overthink it. We're talking to someone else in the breakout room. She's like the Olivia Pope for kinship families and connecting resources. So maybe that's her gift. My gift is connecting disconnected families to resources so that they can X, Y, and Z, right? So that they can thrive, so that they can develop a new definition of family. So we're really pulling it together now. So even if it's kind of rough, still get it out there. Remember, this will evolve with practice and with time and experience, but we just want to get something working out there. If someone could share, what did you come up with? If you put it all together, what would that be? How would it sound?
I help women heal from early childhood hurts so they will be empowered to live their best lives.
Ooh, I love it. Has me excited. That's your jam. I love it. Well done. I love it. You'll have so much healing to do. Beautiful. Oh, that validation coming from the audience. Nice. All right, I'll let you marinate on it some more. But then I'm also going to hunt you down for an answer. Oh my goodness. How are you guys feeling now? Does it feel a little bit more manageable? Does it feel like, oh my God, like I got a lot more on the table than I realized? And like, even if you're focused on like one area, you may have all these other skills that you can pull into it. So how are we feeling now? I know I'm excited just hearing all the possibilities in the room.
I'm feeling great. I'm always interested in just being around other great women and hearing their thoughts and seeing where we stand and just sharing information, definitely always. And then the opportunity to just stop other stuff and really focus on my business and focus on learning something new or something new about myself. I always appreciate that. And truly that's what your sessions bring.
Wow.
So
Feel good.
I like it. I feel fine. I feel good.
Awesome. Awesome. I wish I could hug you. Oh, awesome.
July 6th through 10th.
Yes. That's our retreat in Panama. You have to come get some real hugs. But yeah, awesome. And I think you're right. Like I love hearing other people's like perspectives like that too. And it's like, wow, like we're all kind of in the same place, you know, and this is just like the power of community, and it's the power of like coaching and accountability, right? And we do a lot of that in our mastermind. Colette is in our mastermind or is in the mastermind. That's the kind of work that I think we need, or the space that we need to be able to do things like this, where we can share ideas, get feedback, and move it out of like just this thing in our head or this uncertainty. I'll drop the link there for the mastermind in case you're interested. I love that space in particular because it's consistent. Group coaching, one-on-one, teach a lot of the mindset stuff, the logistics. In the last cohort, we worked on building our email list because you need a list to share great ideas, right? And we'll probably continue with that and build off of that. And then this idea of transformation. What is the transformation that you bring? What is the problem that you solve? But how does the person feel after that? Because that's probably what people will connect to first. I want to feel lighter. I want to feel stronger. I'm not so interested in the work to get there, but I know what I want to feel. So we want to sometimes be able to talk to people from that point and what they want to feel. And sometimes that helps them to come in and do the work with you. That kind of stuff is what we do in the mastermind community. I love the structure because it gives us the ability to do the mindset work and the business work. If you think this was great, imagine the magic of the mastermind. It's really important for your continued success. I'm in a mastermind myself, and I know I'm going to be a beast after this year. So if you want to make those shifts, I think you've got to put yourself in that space. Just like Colette was saying, being in this community is just different. I'm so grateful to have shared this time with you guys. And thank you for giving yourself permission to really own your gifts and to own your skills and to own your expertise. I think as you start to act on these things, your confidence will grow and your impact will grow. Remember, it's not about problems, it's about possibilities. I can't wait to really see, what you guys do and how you impact lives after that. Such a pleasure. Thank you for joining me on What's Your Jam? Keep spending time on the workbook. It could be something maybe you wake up and do for the next couple of days and spend some time in each area because new things may come up. That final statement may kind of shift and evolve a little bit or become even richer. All right. But before we close, if I can get one more person to share, what's one takeaway from today?
All things are possible.
Yes, all things are possible. I will. It's good to be in a space to know that there's possibilities. Put all my information there on the last page too. My hope is that just helps you to think a little bit differently and open up your possibilities. So beautiful. I'm gonna put one more link there in the chat, and that's my Instagram. So if you're not following me, follow me. It was awesome hanging out with you. Keep in contact. Let me know what comes up even after today. It was really a pleasure to talk to you guys and spend some time with you. Thank you for spending time with me. We got a lot of food for thought. So keep working on you ladies, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, that concludes What's My Jam. It's been awesome to really host space with so many different women. And I almost wish we were like live. I think it would have been so dope. But the energy was still felt in the virtual room. It was great to just talk about what is our jam and what's behind that and who's the person behind that, how she thinks, how she sees the world, and how she wants to help the world, and what might be really getting in the way of that, but then a way to kind of shift that so we can move into, more productive spaces. It's really been my pleasure just to have this conversation with you, and I hope in some capacity that we can continue this work together, whether it is following me on Instagram, whether it is, following Courage Over Fear on YouTube, or maybe we'll even get the opportunity to work closely together in one of our coaching programs. Either way, I am here to really support you in all of your gifts and leveraging your expertise. And maybe it's not even about the expertise, but it's about the woman behind it. Maybe you realize, like, I want to work on her. I want to love on her. I want to give her the confidence that she needs to step into spaces and really just shut it down. I look forward to us working in larger capacities. All right, so tell a friend that this was dope and you should have been here. And wherever you're seeing this, if you have the opportunity, like it, share it, invite someone to the conversation. My name is Amanda Flood, and it is a pleasure, a licensed clinical social worker. I have maximized that and continue to use the skills that I have really developed and cultivated over the years to continue to support my people, and particularly women of color, particularly Black women. I am here so that we can create possibilities.